he or she, child, they got me out here liking women. I'm bothered. Anyways, my name is Trey Francis. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Actually, you can do whatever the fuck you want because it's you, but I would greatly appreciate it. It is free. Thank you so much if you do so. In this video, we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Lovecraft Country. That is season 1, episode 5. So we are midway through this thing, right? Right. Who is this man? I'm bothered. They got me out like a woman though. Okay. So we open up on this episode. In this episode, we open up on a white woman in bed, and we can see that this is William's bed. It's at William's place. And as soon as we open up on this image, I was like, "Is that Ruby?" Like my brain just said it. My brain was just like, "Is that Ruby?" And guess what? We find out. This whole Ruby, she gets up, she's checking her, she's looking at her skin, she's panicking, she's looking at her vagina, it's white. She gets up, she goes to the mirror, and she sees her full self as this white woman. So she's panicked, she gets out of bed, she rushes out into the streets. I mean, she's dressed, right? But she rushes out into the streets, and she bumps into this black kid because she's nervous or whatever. She's freaking out. And as soon as she bumps into this black kid, they pull up. The police pull up. They push him onto the car. And then they throw him to the ground. And I was like, why are people just sitting around? But maybe that's what they did in the 1950s. I mean, nowadays, you know, we kind of yell and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck up off him. Get up off him. Let him go. Like, don't shoot him. We be seeing stuff like this. But maybe back in the day, like, you didn't want to see anything because you don't want to get caught up in it too, which, I mean, that's still the same thing for 2020 as well. They be still trying to drag you into something that you didn't have anything to do with, but you just want to see another black person killed. But I digress. So they try to beat up on the little black boy, and Ruby, as her white self, finally says something, and she's like, no, he was just trying to help me out. And so they go, okay, we'll leave him alone, but we're going to take you back to your husband. Like your husband said, we're gonna take you back to him. And she goes, no, like he's done something to me. And they was like, oh, he said you were gonna say these things, like that you have fits and stuff like this, but we're gonna bring you back to him. It's going to be okay. So next thing we know, we see her tussling in William's arms. He throws her to the ground inside of his place, and we see William takes out this big ass knife and he plunges it into her stomach and basically rips her down the center, and he starts pulling at some stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is he pulling at? I didn't get it. But we had this very interesting sort of shot where as they then go to the background, as you see like William like doing all this kind of stuff in her body, and we see this little TV that's basically talking about the metamorphosis that a caterpillar goes through when it becomes a butterfly. And so we kind of get some of the background, or I guess we're keen on sort of what he's doing, but not quite, but it gives us some sort of information, right? It's just the information. So next thing we see is basically Tick and Ruby. And Letty, they go to see Montrose, because remember Montrose in the last episode, he had gone into the room with Aima. I'm pronouncing her name wrong. I already know it. Ahima, whatever it is. But he went in the room with her, and he said he was going to try to help her learn English, right? Because he slits her throat. That's all you need to know. He slits her throat, so that ain't what he did. So when Letty and Tick comes back into the room, they ask, where is Aima? And he basically says, hey, I let her go. And they're like, what? Like, you let her go? Like, no. And, you know, Letty's kind of confused about the whole thing, and Tick gets it. He clocks it, and basically he goes over there and starts pounding away on his father. He starts pounding away on Montrose until Letty screams for some help. And then Tick storms off because he's pissed off that he would do this to him. Again, remember, like I said in my last video, guys, why do you think Montrose is on this journey with them? Like, what is his purpose? Like, is he really there to help them, or is he there to sabotage everything? Because as far as it seems to me, he seems like a big ass sabotager. Like, how you say that? A saboteur? Like, however you say it, that's what his ass is. Like, why are you on this journey with us if you're not going to officially help us? Now, it might be one of the cases. It might be the case might become one where he says, I was doing all these things to protect you, which isn't it off the table, but as it stands is anyone else annoyed with him? Is no one else is annoyed by Montrose? I feel like we're not giving him the heat like we gave who did we give the heat to? Like we gave Molly the heat for Insecure. I don't feel like Montrose is getting this heat online. Like we need to light his ass up on Twitter. Like I'll be the first, but we gotta get to it, okay? We gotta get to him because he fucking shit up. But anyways, so next we see Ruby as her metamorphosis, right? The caterpillar to the butterfly in this metaphor. And as we see her going through the streets and like everyone's being kind to her as this white woman and she's getting free things at the parlor and people are, people aren't afraid of her, right? They're afraid for things to happen to her, right? They're very protective of her in this white skin. We hear the four colored girls who have considered suicide. We hear that playing in the background, and it's this beautiful moment. I thought it was interesting to see it juxtaposed against a white woman where you hear these black words being said over that imagery. I thought that was very cool and a very unique take on that. And so I'm just loving what they're doing with this series so far because they really make you think about things. They're using some of the most beautiful black art and black culture in this series, and I love it. I love to see myself and see parts of who I am represented on screen in this way, right? So Ruby was basically enjoying the finer things in life. So let me jump over. And Letty and Tick is having this moment, and Letty basically explains to Tick, hey, you keep this shit up, like you got me scared of you. Like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this if you aggressive, you're exhibiting very woman beating tendency. I'm just gonna have to put it out there. I mean, he ain't hit her yet, but you just never know what someone could be up to when they're doing all types of fuck shit. So she ain't having it. I'm also not having it. I'm not here for it. So he got to get it together. If you ask me, he's like, oh, there's nothing to be afraid of me. I don't want you to be afraid of me. And so he says these little words or whatever it needs to be, and apparently that makes the panties drop. I'm just like, I would have been like, ugh, little boy. That's what I would have did. Now I know I say that in theory. However, if if Tick was sitting in front of me and then he started to take off things, I don't know how well I'll be able to resist. And I'm not saying like the D is everything, because that's definitely not it. Like you on some fuck shit, we won't be fucking at all. So I know how to resist, but I get it. So anyways, they fuck or whatever. It looked good on camera. But I was just like, I don't want this to always be a thing where when Tick is aggressive or when he's having these moments, because remember, even their first time of them having sex together, which was Letty's first time, it was from like this anger, passion, this jealousy, like this rage. I don't want that to be their story. So I want something to change for their love story. And let me know if you guys also feel this way. Like, do you I care for Letty. And so I do not want this to be their love story. So let me know what you guys think about how they're setting up this love story thus far. And are we looking for something to change when it comes to Letty and Tick? Because I am. So then we jump over. Ruby's bathing, and you see William standing in the doorway, and she really doesn't understand like why he likes her. Why, out of all the black women in the world, like why her? Like why would you share your magic, right, with me? Like I don't get it. And he basically tries to woo her. Oh, since I first laid eyes on you, which I would have been like, you too, little boy. Like I would have pushed his head back too. But anyways, all these men, they little boys, whatever, trying to spit game. But he basically goes on and he basically says like, hey, you owe me a favor. Like I'm doing this for you. Now you have to do something for me. I owe someone a favor and you're gonna help me carry that favor out. And he, Ruby wants to know what it is, and he basically tells her, just hold off, little butterfly. Like we'll get to that in a second, right? But basically, he tells her, oh, he was curious. He asks her, I should say, why did you leave the money? You took the potion, right? The potion which changes you into a white woman, but why didn't you take the money? And I thought there's a very interesting quote that she had. Like, why didn't you use the money? He asked. Like, you just left that on the counter. And she goes, I used the only currency that I needed, which was being white. Being white in America, that is the only currency that I needed. And I was treated like a fucking human being for the first time in my life. Like, let that sink in. Like, but I digress. So next thing we see, Ruby as her white self. Her name, she's known as Hillary Davenport. So when I say Hillary, That's what we're talking about. Ruby in her white woman form. So Hillary Davenport goes in to the high-end, the upscale department store that she had seen the other black woman get hired at because she wanted to get hired there too. So she goes in as Hillary Davenport. She meets up with Mr. Hughes, which is the boss over the company or over this department store in particular. And he basically, she does her thing, and she's very educated, she's very smart, she knows her stuff, so she wows him, and he basically offers her the assistant manager position. She's like, oh, the assistant manager position? He's like, yes, like it is yours if you want it. She goes 14 times over. And when she said that shit, I must admit, I hollered and I reminded that shit like 14 times because that shit had me dying. Like I was like, what? Like I don't know that I've heard that before. And I've seen so many old films. Like I love film. I'm like, I've never heard that expression before, but it had me dying. And so I'm just thinking the next time that I'm back out in LA and I'm going up for these roles, and I'm going up for these positions in writers' rooms because that's what I'm trying to do, which essentially I want to write and star in my own shit, like Issa Rae and a few others of us. I'm gonna use that. Give me the position so I can say 14 times over, yes. Like, that is what I want to say. I want to say that in my next interview, and I'll let y'all know how it works for me. But anyways, because it works for them. So anyways, next thing we see is Montrose goes over to meet up with his lover. His lover is none other than a male, right? A man. So he goes over to his man's house, and he basically breaks his man back in. When he finished breaking his man back in, he tries to kiss him on the lips. His man tries to kiss Montrose. Montrose ain't having it. He just goes down on him, but he's not ready for that type of affection, which this is something that happens particularly when straight men hop the fence over here messing with us. And they don't want that type of intimacy. However, fucking is intimate in and of itself. But as you can see, theirs was rough. And they usually try to do all this stupid stuff. But theirs was rough. And but you can still see this pain, like this longing to like accept myself, right? But he couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. So no kissing for your ass. Get over here and I'll go down on you. But that's about it. So that's what we got when it came to them. And so anyways, so now next we go over, and I also love that while this was playing that we did get some Frank Ocean up in here, which the music was stellar in this episode. It has been really, really, first of all, the music has been just stellar throughout all of this series thus far. But we hear Frank Ocean's Bad Religion playing in the background, and I just thought that was really beautiful. So anyways, we hop over to Hillary Davenport. It's her first day at work, and so of course she goes over to Tamara, which is the only other black woman who's working at this space. And remember, she's already had a conversation with her, and she asked her, like, what made you, apply here. And Tamara was like, I just did it on a whim. You know what I mean? Like, it was nothing to me. And she stormed off, and I was just like, why did she get pissed off at her? Like, why is that upsetting? Why is that upsetting? But there's a very important conversation that I'm going to, like, tangent on, but we're going to jump right back into it because this tangent is a part of the discussion that they're having within this series. And I want to know, I want to see if you guys also think this is worth noting. So I'm going to note it, and then you guys can let me know what you think about it. But anyways, she goes over there to bother Tamara, and she basically gets mad at Tamara because she was asking her, well, do you have a degree? And did you go down to the courses at the library or whatever case may be, the business courses at the library, and take 7 of those? And the girl was like, no, like when I said I did this on a whim, like I literally did it on a whim, and I didn't even know that there were classes, down at the library, free classes or whatever the case may be. And I didn't even know that, and I didn't even graduate from high school. And she was like, high school? You didn't get your diploma? And you up in this hole? Okay. So she gets mad at her and she puts some lotion aside and says, use this basically because you got some ashy hands, and she storms off. And I was just like, ooh, ho. But okay. She got it together. And so one of the things that I wanted to, so hold on, let me keep going. So next we see Hillary's in the break room with the girls, right? Only the white girls. They didn't let Tamara, it looks like Tamara can't come down here. And with all of them down there, it looks like Tamara's still running the floor by herself. But anyways, I digress. So they're down there dancing and gossiping and trying on the shoes and stuff at the store. And one of the white girls calls Tamara a Negro, and of course that makes Ruby's skin boil as Hillary, right? She's Hillary, but as we know, she's still Ruby, and so she feels it. There was this guttural sort of reaction to her saying that, and you still like the skin crawl. It was a literal sort of expression of it, and I thought that was genius. But of course, we know that's like herself trying to break through, and it's like, if you get the black woman out of me, like, you literally gonna get the black woman out of me, which I think is just so genius. It's so genius because it was that sort of thing where it's just like, it's sort of like a code switching thing. It was two things. It sort of had a feel of us, how we code switch in sort of situations. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just stopped doing that. That to me, and I stopped using that term, although I know what it is and I understand it when black people use this term. However, I stopped using that term. One, it's just me being professional, right? If I'm in a professional setting, I'm just being professional. I'm not switching a code. I'm literally just being professional. So if I'm here and I'm acting a certain way, this is my profession. This is me in a professional setting, because when other people do it, how they are outside of the workplace is not how they are in the workplace either. So you know what I mean? Like, I just don't. So I'm gonna stop using that word, because to me it just has a negative connotation to it, to me. So I'm not using that word. When I'm at work and you see me acting in a way, I'm being professional. When I'm outside of work and I'm doing everything else I want to do, that's me just being me and living my life unprofessionally, because I'm not in a professional setting and I get to be free. I get to do whatever the fuck I want to do, just like you, boo. Okay? Get into it. So anyways, I thought in this moment, I thought of this conversation being sort of like I thought of it in a larger conversation, a larger spectrum of where, you know, how Ruby is to education, right? Like, education means something to Ruby. Being able to prove your value and your worth through something that you've worked hard for to attain, that's important to Ruby, right? So Ruby is about education, but she uses her education to place herself above other black people within the community. White women in this context just want to be over black women, right? So they just use their whiteness to be over black people. And I thought this was an interesting conversation because, you know, when we talk about intersectionality, a lot of times black women get left out of the conversation. And so there was that was being brought up, right? There was this discussion not only between Hillary, right, Ruby, and these women in this room, but then we also got a little bit of this later on in the episode between Ruby and Christina. But I also wanted to just talk about briefly how even within our community, how we could start to use what white people have done to us, right? Their oppressive ways that they have used to black people, historically speaking, to then use that to create this hierarchy between ourselves. And it's just like, no, don't do that. You know that every black person doesn't have the same opportunity. Just like when we say we're not a monolith, that literally means something. And so we shouldn't put other black people down just because they might not have the education that we might have. We shouldn't put them down because they can't dress how we might dress. We shouldn't put them down because they don't speak maybe how we speak. And if we think we speak properly, right? We think we speak a certain way. We shouldn't put them down for this. It's this sort of thing, and this is the vice versa is true too, because we know in certain parts of the black community, if you speak a certain way, this happened to me, you know, the way that I speak and stuff like this, I was picked on when I was little for it. So it goes both ways, but I just wanted to, one is particularly from a place of privilege, and I think one isn't, and so I think one could be more harmful to the other. I think personally, like, it's harmful here, but societally, like, one is more harmful than the other, right? So that's why I wanted to kind of briefly talk about that, because I think that is an exchange that is also just important. And I think that's what Ruby is basing herself off of, and that's why she don't like Tamara, because there's really no reason not to like this woman. In my eyes, you know, she went in, she got hired when they took that clause out where they couldn't segregate, right? They couldn't be exclusively white anymore. And she was the one hire that they decided to throw in there, right? And that was it. And so she got it. But let me know, what do you guys speculate? Like, why do you think Ruby does not like her. Like, what is her issue? What is her problem? Because even though my theory, I just put out a theory, right? It might still be surface to some of y'all. So let me know, do you feel like there's a deeper sort of exploration that needs to happen when we discuss Ruby and Tamara? Because that's something that's very, I was intrigued by the dialogue that they had in the last episode, and I'm still intrigued by it in this episode, under the guise of Ruby being this white woman. It was still very interesting, and I still am trying to piece together what is Ruby's deal with this woman besides like her education, because if that's it, like I said, like that's not good. I don't like the segregation in that way, the hierarchy in that way, the classism, if you will, in that way when it regards someone of a educated background versus someone without that. I don't like it. I don't like it. So that was a little tangent, but let's get back into this. So anyways, the girls said that they want to go out to a club and they want Tamara to take them out there. And one of the girls, because she was saying a lot of slick stuff, I think she was also the one who called Tamara a Negro. She also had the nerve to say it'll be like a little safari. Okay. So there's all these different sort of these court, okay. You know what I mean? Like, you gonna call us animals? Gotcha, sis. Gotcha. I got your number. So anyways, as they're leaving work, Hillary stunts on these hoes because none other than her man, William, is standing outside with his nice-ass car looking to pick her up. He swoop her up. He basically tells her, hey, now it's time to give me this favor. And she's like, I knew it was coming at some point, so what is it? He tells her that Christina is going to meet her at the place, and she's going to give her the details. However, in the meantime, I got you a gift, baby girl. Like, I got you a gift. Like, open up that box in the back seat. She goes back there to open the box, and I'm getting excited. I'm like, what's about to be in this fucking box? Like, yes, I love gifts. I love gifts. And that's not even my love language. But if you give me a gift, like I just love gifts. I love opening gifts. I love giving gifts. So that's more of it. I love giving gifts. So I love that he was giving her something because I was just like, what is he giving her? Right? So that's what I mean. I mean, you can get me something too. But anyways, she opens up the fucking box, and in this fucking box, there's a fucking maid too. I'm like, a maid? Like, what are you trying to have her do? So let me jump over. She's in there maiding. Sorry, y'all, that ain't a verb. But anyways, she in there maiding. She's in there being a fucking maid to these people. Is she free? She's a free woman, but she's in there being a maid, if you ask me, to these people. Serving them food and stuff like this. And so she meets up with Christina. Christina basically says, hey, you gotta go plant this. She hands her, I'm gonna say an heirloom. I don't know what the fuck that was, but she hands her an heirloom, and she has to go plant it in the captain's office because it looks like they're gonna do like a, hey, like he got something of ours to sort of stick in. He stole it from us, yada yada yada, whatever the case may be, and they're gonna bust his ass wide open. But anyway, she had to go do it, and Ruby, of course, is like, you trying to get me killed? Like, that's what you're trying to do? Like, I can't go do that. And she's like, no, but if you love this man, if you love William, you're gonna go do it. And Ruby pauses, and she's like, oh, you're right. So Ruby goes down the hallway to do this for her. I think I might have skipped something. But anyways, oh no, that's right. So then anyways, Tick reveals reveals to Letty that Montrose he murdered Ahima. And Letty was over it. No, it's this. I can't even do it right now. This is evil. I can't. When she was doing that little monologue part for her being scared, first of all, the acting, she's an actor. I love the threat that she felt like in her voice. I loved it. It was just brilliant. Journey Smollett is an actor. Like, she's that girl. She knows how to act from her head to her toe. We love her. I love to see her in things. I'm serious about the Emmys and go whatever. Give her awards next year. That's all I know. But anyways, she's over it. She don't want nothing to do with this. She's just over it. Next, we find out that Letty, not Letty, I'm sorry. We jump back over to they're at the lodge, right? And she goes into the office. Ruby goes into the office to plant it. As she's in there, the captain and some men are coming back into the office, so she has to hide in the closet. When we get into the closet, there's this weird man tied up in there. His neck and his face is cut up and stuff. And then when we see the captain comes in, he takes off his shirt and his head didn't look right for his body. So I'm just like, what? Did they swap body? Like, I'm confused. I'm so confused. I did not get that scene, and I watched it like 5 times. I can try to get it for you guys. I did not get it. So please, whoever got what that conversation was, let me know, like, immediately. I do not, like, my brain, like, it was just like the question marks and like the it was like calculus and statistics going in front of my eyes, because I hated both of those. Even though I did well in them, I hated both of them. What was going on? Like, I do not get that part. Like, what? So if anyone pieced anything together, let me know, because I would love the tea. So then we jump over, and Montrose, he's with his man and the rest of the queens, and there's apparently going to be a show tonight. So that's basically what we get, and I was just like, okay, got it. It's going to be like a drag show tonight, like a competition. Then we jump back over, and Hillary, Tamara, and her coworkers are all out on the south side of Chicago, right? They're at a black bar. Of course, here we go. Susie, Sarah, and Becky, who talk about black women, but they looking at the man. Oh, she I fucking the man and stuff like this. Okay, but you be having the most to say, but you like these men now, don't you? Oh, okay, you like these men. But anyways, I digress. So they get up, they start to cut a rug or whatever the case may be. They're up there dancing. We see this moment where Hillary, right, Hillary is not up for it. So she goes outside. She was supposed to take more of her potion to stay as Hillary, and she doesn't. It crashes in her hands, and she starts to go back to her, which that shit, ooh, it was gross as fuck. Like, I watched it, but it was so fucking gross. But I was like, who's ever doing these prosthetics, this makeup, like, bomb as fuck. Like, awards need to be given to them because they're doing the damn thing. But anyways, she goes back into her regular form as Ruby, and she looks through because she hears some stumbling around, some commotion. She looks into like a peephole, and there we see none other than Mr. Hughes, right? The boss at the upscale department store. He is trying to rape, because we heard her say, no, please don't. I'm not looking to do this, Mr. Hughes. He's trying to rape her, and he's trying to rape Tamara. And Ruby is looking at this, and so he goes in to kiss her as he's filling up her skirt, and she bites him on the lip. He pulls back, bleeding, and she runs off. And he had the nerve to turn around and say, "You fucking nigger, bitch!" Really? Is that what you think of the girl you was trying to come on to? Oh, okay. You come over here to the south side. You see us moving our hips. You see us taking the tail feather. You see us throwing it back in a circle. You see us dropping it low and picking it up slow. You see us winding our waist. You see us, you know what I mean, grinding on each other. Now you're intrigued. Now, now it's standing up. I got your number, Mr. Hughes. We all got it. So does Ruby. So anyways, we jump back over, and we're at the drag contest. It's at the end of the drag contest. They're just having a good time now. And we see Montrose's, so I'm going to call her she now. She's in drag, so I'm going to call her she, right? I'm trying to keep up with my correct pronouns during the time. So she, Montrose's girl, is in drag, and she has gotten second place. She's out in the middle of the dance floor, and she searches for him, and she pulls him out into the dance floor. He obliges, and they start to dance together. He's just hugging her all uptight. You can see that he's really into this moment. And while they're having this moment, a different queen comes up and starts to dance with him. And next thing you know, he's like hoisted up into the air, and they're, carrying him like this, and like glitter starts to fall from the sky, and it was like this beautiful moment. And as they let him down, it sort of felt like a coronation. I don't know if that's the word, but it sort of felt like like an introduction, like a I don't know the word I'm looking for, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. Like a celebration of someone stepping into, like, it's like a rebirth, sort of like a phoenix, sort of like a metamorphosis. Look at that. Look at these correlations. There were several metamorphoses throughout this episode, right, that we saw. So he goes to this metamorphosis, and when they put him down, he's feeling himself. He looks around the room. He feels like he's accepted right here, right? There's no judgment here. There's love in this space. He finally feels a part of this community. And so he goes and he starts to search for his girl, and he pulls her up, he pulls her in, and he kisses her for the first time. Because remember, when he tried to kiss her, when she tried to kiss Montrose before, he wasn't having it. And in this moment, he's able to do it. He feels safe. He feels protected. And he feels loved, right? He feels seen. He feels heard. He feels cared for. And so in this moment, he's able to do it. Will this continue? We'll have to see. But in this moment, Montrose was able to give all of himself. And I loved it. I loved it. I love a celebration of that, right? We all love it. So next thing we know, Christina pays Ruby an unexpected visit and basically encourages her to be her. You didn't get what William was trying to do. He wasn't trying to turn you into a white woman just so you can be a white woman. He was giving you this magic, right? This freedom to do whatever the fuck you want to do. And I don't think you're taking full advantage of it. So next thing we know, we see Hillary with Mr. Hughes, Ruby as Hillary, seeing Mr. Hughes. He called this meeting. And what does he want to discuss? He wants to discuss terminating, firing Mrs. Tamara because she wouldn't let him rape him. Because she had the balls to fight back. Now we got to get rid of her, right? So, Ruby, as Hillary, having come to her senses a little bit and is in defense of Tamara, she decides to come on to him. Now he feeling good. He's trying to kiss up on her, hug up, and fill up. And she's like, nah, let you love to be in control, don't you, Mr. Hughes? You love that shit. Allow me. So she unbuckles his pants. She ties the thing around his waist. She basically calls him a dog, a bitch. She takes off her pantyhose and she stuffs them in his mouth. She tells him to get down on his knees. He does. He obeys. And then she kicks him to the ground. She goes behind him. She takes off her she wasn't. First of all, never mind. We ain't gonna do that. She takes off her stiletto with her, let's give her a 3, maybe 4 inch heel. And she starts to fuck him in the ass with that shoe. And I was just like, the pain, the agony, the distress, the turmoil, the tribulations, the agony, the hurt, I just, blood coming out. Ooh, no ma'am. And she had tied his hands up, so there was nothing he could do. She took his tie off and tied his hands up. Look at that. Took the tie off and tied his hands up. I love that. So there was nothing that he could do but take it. He's yelling, screaming, but of course that's in his mouth, so no one can hear his pleas. And as she's doing this to him, again, she didn't take her potion or whatever case may be, so she's turning back into her bloody Ruby self, because when that shin sheds, that outer layer sheds, it's bloody, it's messy underneath. And she turns him around and she goes, you know what? I wanted you to see that this nigger bitch did this to you, right? So she used his words back on him, and then she walks out in her bloody heels. But anyways, Tick then reveals to Letty that he has a lady friend over in Korea, but he is trying to make things better with her, right? He's here for her. And it was a cute little moment. And like I said, there's a lot of different sort of changes with people throughout this episode. There was a lot of metamorphosis happening. And so you had, I love the double image of, remember earlier in the episode when Ruby was taking her bath and then her man was in the doorway, he came over to her. The same thing happened with Letty and her man being Tick coming over to her. So I love that. I love this imagery, right? This double imagery, and in some instances triple imagery throughout this episode. I thought it was very beautiful. It was very it helped tell the story in a way that I thought was absolutely perfect. And that's why this is literally my favorite episode from this season thus far, right? We still have the finale, and I can only hope and think and believe the finale is about to go out. But let me hurry get up off of here because this sun is now shining directly in my face and I feel like it's fucking up how I look. And I don't even know if I can correct it. Okay, so let's just hurry up. Let's just hurry up. So anyways, the last thing I had to tell y'all is, next, this is a big spoiler alert, but this whole episode is, this whole video is that I'm doing with y'all. But anyways, William comes home and of course Ruby's waiting there for him, and so she jumps up. I want to know what's going on between you and your lady friend. Like, what's going on in the basement? What's down in the basement? You and her go down there for, just all amounts of hours. You're always down there. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what's down there? I want in. Of course, he walks past her. I'm not giving you answers. He don't say that, but that's what his body says. And next thing we know, his body start twerking and shifting and moving and stuff. I'm like, wait, what the fuck is going on? This is what happens when Ruby takes this poison. Ruby takes this potion and she starts to shift from Hillary to. So I'm like, hold on. I was bothered. So next thing we know, he starts to change, his body blowing up and stuff like this, and out comes none other than Christina. And when I tell you I was bothered, I mean, like, this is a sickening reveal, but when I was telling you, she said, I'm Superman and Clark Kent, okay? Get that straight. When I tell you I was bothered, okay? I like having multiple people to look at in a series. Now, the women in this series, they are beautiful too. I love it. Love it. But I don't do nothing for me. I liked having two, at least two. We had Tick and we had William. Both giving us what we need when we need it. Now we down to one. So they're gonna have to introduce to me another, because I just need it. I need that male eye candy, but whatever. That's not what this episode is about. But I'm gonna need it because now you done messed up William from now. I can't even enjoy William. I don't care if William comes back. I don't care if Casino met him. Girl, bye. He's you. No ma'am. Keep it. I love it. It's a cool reveal. It's good for this. It's good for TV, right? It's excellent for TV. But I was bothered by it because I was just like, I was loving two. Now you knocked me down to one. So, But anyways, this episode ended with a quick little thing. Basically, Tick goes off, calls his Korea number again. I don't know what's going on with Korea. I need more information. What's going on? Basically, he has a death wish out on him. Basically, you about to die. He realizes that when he was doing the hieroglyphics earlier, that coding, the words or whatever, it wasn't his initials as he previously thought. Maybe it was, but I don't think it was. He realizes that it says die, like he's about to die. There's a gunner, there's a shooter. There's a hit out on him, and he better watch his back, essentially. And then the person hangs up the phone, and that is how this episode ends. So that's all that I have for you guys. Like I said, this is one of my favorite episodes. Please let me know what you guys have been thinking thus far. Are you still into it? Has it left you? I don't know how you could be left after this. Like, I thought the last episode kind of gave us more exposition and kind of slowed down a little bit, but I thought this episode really amped it and picked it back up, right? After the first two episodes, episode 3 went down a little bit. I think episode 4 revived it a little bit, and then episode 5 really just went there, and it became my favorite episode after the opening episode, followed by a close third, a very close third is episode 2. But anyways, that is all that I have for you guys. Please, again, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. It is free. Also, give me a thumbs up if you would like to, but I would love if you did, because that's also free as well. But I'm going to get up off of here and go enjoy my weekend because I'm off tomorrow. So that means it's my weekend, and so we're about to turn up. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Continue to... Thank you guys for watching so much. I'm going to continue to do these reviews. I know that I still owe everybody a review for the finale of I May Destroy You, which I am going to do tomorrow. Like I said, I am off. I am finally going to do that. I'm not going to give an excuse. I'm not going to give a reason, but we will have that up tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. But I am going to post this tonight. Today, yeah, I'm going to post it tonight, and then we're going to get that review up for I May Destroy You tomorrow, because I want to finish it out. I started something, I want to finish it. No matter if it took me some time because of some stuff, we're still going to get it up. So thank you guys again for watching. I'm going to get up off of here, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.